Fireman Sam, Peppa Pig, and Officer Steele had just finished a day's work when Officer Steele says, "Fireman Sam, look at the building. The office is full of dirt." So Peppa and Fireman Sam turned round to have a look and said, "Wow, that's really dirty. How is it so dirty?" And Officer Steele said, "I'm not sure how it's so dirty, but we think we need to clean it up," said Officer Steele. So Peppa Pig went off to get a ladder. And she comes back with a really cool ladder and puts it up against the fire station. So slowly but surely, Peppa Pig starts to clean it. It looks like a Play-Doh mud. Oh no, Peppa Pig fell over. Come on, Peppa, get up. So Fireman Sam goes up the ladder, and the ladder falls down. And Peppa said, "Oh no, I think we better place it into a different position." So with a helping hand, the ladder is placed in a safe position. And now they need to get on top of the roof, because there's a load of dirt on top. Who's going to go up? So Peppa climbs up the ladder and cleans part of the roof and goes to the top and cleans that bit. And Fireman Sam said, "I think we need to clean the mess up after us as well, Peppa." So the fire station is looking a lot better now, but there's still some bits that need to be done. So Officer Steele gives a helping hand and gets the bits that he can get without the ladder. And Officer Steele said, "There's one more part on top of the roof that we need to get, Fireman Sam. Can you get it for me?" So Fireman Sam goes up the ladder, walks along the roof just to get the last part. Now, you have to be very careful doing this because it's dangerous. But Fireman Sam is an experienced fireman, so he knows what he's doing. So Officer Steele, Fireman Sam, and Peppa Pig all help to clean the fire station. Play-Doh can be such a messy thing sometimes, said Peppa Pig. But we did a great job together, working as a team to clean the station. And now look at the fire station. It looks perfect. And it'll be ready for our next day's work tomorrow. So it's time to go home now, and everyone's really happy with their day's work. Daddy Pig just went outside, and he saw a load of cool surprise eggs just outside the camper. So Daddy Pig calls Mammy Pig over. So Mammy Pig comes over and said, "Wow, look at all these cool surprise eggs. We've got a Peppa Pig surprise egg, Percy surprise egg, Kinder surprise egg, and a Play-Doh surprise egg. I think we better call Peppa and George over." So Mammy Pig calls Peppa Pig, and Peppa said, "Wow, look at all these surprise eggs, Mammy. What a fantastic surprise. Let's get George in." So George comes over and said, "Wow, how cool are these? We can have 2 each, Peppa. Do you want to open one first?" "Which one do you want to open, Peppa?" said George. So Peppa chooses the Percy egg. So with a helping hand, we open the Percy egg. So what surprise will we get? "It's bound to be from Thomas and Friends," said George. So with a helping hand, the egg is opened, and we got Henry. "Wow, how cool is that?" said Peppa Pig. So Peppa jumps on Henry, just having some fun. So now it's George's turn. What egg will George pick? George wants to open the Peppa Pig surprise egg. So with a helping hand again, we open the Peppa Pig surprise egg. "What's going to be in there?" said Daddy Pig. Wow, look at that, we've got a cool magnet, and it's got George on it, said Peppa. It looks just like you. You just got a muddy puddle on you in the magnet, said Peppa Pig. We also get some sweets, so we'll put them in the camper. We get some stickers, and we also get a cool leaflet to show us what we could get in the surprise egg. So go on now, George, pick another egg. So George picks the Kinder Surprise egg, because George loves the Kinder chocolate. So with a helping hand, we open the Kinder Surprise egg. I wonder what surprise we'll get, said Mammy Pig. And Mammy Pig really likes the Kinder Surprise eggs. So wow, we've got a cool Hot Wheels car, and it's yellow. Peppa Pig loves yellow cars. What a cool surprise. So now it's Peppa Pig's turn to open the last and final surprise egg. Oh no, George fell off the yellow Hot Wheels car. There we go. What are you doing up there? Said Peppa. So now we'll open the last Play-Doh surprise egg. And Daddy Pig said, "This is a special surprise for you, Peppa. You've wanted one of these for a long time. And it's a bike." So that means Peppa Pig's got a brand new bike to play with. Peppa just was too excited and jumps on top of the bike. Wow, look at all these cool surprises. So once Peppa's on the bike, she says, "Thanks, Daddy and Mammy Pig. These are some of the coolest surprises ever." Mammy Pig said, "We'll eat the chocolate later." And Peppa said, "Don't forget." Peppa Pig and George went out to the cafe. And what did they go out to get? Peppa said, "What should we get, George?" And George said, "Let's get a Play-Doh cupcake." "A Play-Doh cupcake," said Peppa. "We'd better go in to see what they got then." So with a helping hand, they open the door and they head inside. Once inside, George and Peppa see a really cool blue Play-Doh cupcake, and it's got a little bear on top. Said George, "Let's take this one." So Peppa said, "Look, we can put some cool stuff on top. What have we got? We've got a bear, a star, and a seashell." So George said, "What are you going to put on, Peppa?" "First of all, we'll place the seashell on top. We'll put another blue bear on, and we'll put a star on the side of the cupcake this time." And George said, "Wow, that looks really tasty." "Shall we cut it in half?" said Peppa Pig, "so we can have half each?" George said, "That's a fantastic idea." So with a helping hand, we cut into the Play-Doh cupcake so they can share it equally. "Because we have to share," said George. "Wow, that looks really tasty," said Peppa. So Peppa will get the side with the green bear on, and George, because his favourite colour is blue, will get all of the blue sweets on top. And then George said, "What are we going to do with these now, Peppa?" And Peppa said, "Let's take them home to show Mammy Pig and Daddy Pig." So come on, George, let's go home and show Mammy and Daddy. I'm sure they'll want some. So Peppa and George had a great day at the Play-Doh Cupcake Cafe. Peppa Pig and George were in the front room watching TV. Daddy Pig was washing his hands in the bathroom, and Mammy Pig was washing the dishes in the kitchen. When George said to Peppa, "I'm really hungry. Peppa. I'm going to ask Mammy for some food. So Peppa and George go over to Mammy Pig and say, Mammy Pig, can we have something to eat for a dessert? Mammy Pig said, that's a great idea. And Daddy Pig turns around. As soon as Daddy Pig hears dessert, he turns around and says, what can we have, Mammy Pig? What do you have for us? So Mammy Pig goes off and says, it's a surprise. And then Daddy Pig, Peppa and George were all wondering what Mammy Pig would bring back from the shop. And Mammy Pig comes back with a big jelly surprise. So Mammy Pig said, we've got a Peppa Pig strawberry jelly. And wow, Peppa can't even believe it. It's got Peppa on the front, and it's got a mould of Peppa on the back, so the jelly's in the shape of Peppa the Pig. George said, that's so cool, Peppa. I wish they did one with me on it. And Daddy Pig laughed, saying, that's the best jelly mould I've ever seen. How did you find it, Mammy Pig? It looks just like me, Peppa said. And Mammy Pig said, it is you, Peppa. It don't just look like you. So everyone got really excited about the strawberry jelly. So with a helping hand, we opened the jelly, and it looks amazing, said George. How cool is it? I wonder what it'll taste like. So I think we need a spoon to eat it with. So everyone got really excited about this Peppa Pig strawberry jelly. And George jumps in the jelly and goes, this is nice, guys, you should try it. And Mammy Pig said, get out, George. So everyone now can have their dessert, which is a Peppa Pig strawberry jelly. And then it's bedtime. Fireman Sam and Peppa Pig had just finished a day's work when Fireman Sam and Peppa Pig spot some of their friends, which is Thomas and Percy. Percy and Thomas say, hey guys, how are you? Peppa said, we just finished work. Thomas and Percy said, you haven't seen Postman Pat about, have you? We're waiting for a special delivery from him. And Fireman Sam said, he should be around any minute, guys. He always comes at the end of the shift. So Thomas and Percy were really excited. And here's Postman Pat now, said Peppa Pig. So Postman Pat gets out of the van. Where's your cat? Peppa said. Where's Jess? Jess is here as well. And Jess goes up and said, hey. Goes up to Fireman Sam. Because Jess really likes Fireman Sam. And then Postman Pat said, Thomas, I've got your special delivery here. Look what it is. Wow. It's a raspberry jelly to eat. How cool is that? And then Percy said, look, Thomas, you're on the front. And Peppa and Fireman Sam couldn't believe that Thomas was on the front of the cover of the raspberry jelly mould. So Percy moves out of the way. So with a helping hand, the Thomas and Friends raspberry jelly is opened. Postman Pat said, wow, look how cool that is, Thomas. It's in the shape of you. So through the raspberry jelly, you could see Thomas's face. It's shaped exactly like Thomas's, which is loads of fun, and it tastes delicious. And you can see through it too, which is really cool. So Postman Pat said, "Come on, Thomas, let's all eat it. I think it'd be a shame not to eat it all now." So Thomas and Percy jumps on top, Postman Pat, Fireman Sam, Jess, and Peppa Pig all sat down to eat the raspberry jelly. Loads of fun. George was on top of the fire station, hiding from Peppa and Fireman Sam. Fireman Sam and Peppa Pig can't see George behind them on top of the fire engine, and they had just got back from finishing a day's work. When Peppa said to Fireman Sam, "Fireman Sam, we had a great day today. We saved a cat, we put out 3 fires, we saved a forest fire, all with Jupiter." Fireman Sam said, "I know, we had a really good day. It's always nice to help people out when you can," said Fireman Sam. And Fireman Sam said, "I wonder where George is." Peppa said, "George, normally waiting for us at the end of the day." And meanwhile, George is giggling on top of the fire station. And he's hiding. George loves to hide from Fireman Sam and Peppa Pig. So Fireman Sam and Peppa Pig spot George on top of the fire station. And Peppa Pig said, "Look, Fireman Sam, there's George up there." And Fireman Sam said, "What are you doing up there, George? Come down." And Peppa said, "Can you get down, George?" And George said, "No. I think I'm stuck, guys. Do you think you can help me?" So in comes Batman to save the day, because Fireman Sam and Peppa Pig haven't got their ladders. And Fireman Sam said, "Batman, can you save George for us? He's been a silly boy and hid on top of the fire station." So Batman said, "I've got this. Come on, George, jump on top." So with a helping hand, George jumps on the back of Batman. And Batman has to be very careful that he doesn't drop George on the way down. So Batman comes down slowly with George on his back. And he said, "Come on, George, jump off, boy." So once Batman and George are on the floor, George can then get off the back of Batman. And Batman said, "George, what are you doing up there? It's really dangerous. If it's easy to get up somewhere, but getting down is another story. You've got to be safe." And Peppa said, "You're so naughty sometimes, George. I know you're doing it just to have a bit of fun, but you have to have fun safely." George said, "I know, I'm sorry, guys." So Batman said, "Be safe. And listen to Peppa and Fireman Sam, George. They both know what they're talking about." And Fireman Sam said, "Have you got anything to say to Batman, George?" And George says to Batman, "Thanks, Batman, for saving the day." So everyone's safe now, and Batman can leave and do some more good deeds. And Peppa said, "At least you're safe, George. Come on, we'll go home, and then Fireman Sam can go home and we can all relax tonight, knowing everyone's safe. Don't forget to subscribe." Peppa and George went to the park when George said, "Wow, look at all these surprise eggs, Peppa. We got Play-Doh surprise eggs, Thomas and Friends surprise eggs, Barbie surprise eggs, and Hot Wheels Kinder surprise eggs. Wow," Peppa said. "How cool is that? Shall we open them?" And George said, "That's a great idea. We'll have to open them before we can play on the slides and on the swings." So with a helping hand, Peppa and George opened the surprise eggs.
So let's see what's in the Hot Wheels Kinder Surprise egg first, said Peppa. What will we find? George said, wow, look at all that cool chocolate we got. So in the first Kinder Surprise egg, we've got a cool Hot Wheel car. And it's red, said Peppa, just like my jumper. So shall we look at the collection that we can get? Yes, George said. Show me the collection. Wow, look, you can get a red one, blue one, yellow one, brown one. Loads of cool Hot Wheels cars. So what egg shall we open next? George said as he jumped on top of the Hot Wheels car. Let's open the James egg, said George. Wow, we all love James, don't we? And again, loads of chocolate for Peppa and George. They won't be able to eat all the chocolate at once, but I'm sure they'll keep it. Who will they get? Wow, they got Thomas, the tank engine, #1. Peppa loves Thomas. He said, look how cool this toy is, the detail is lovely, said Peppa. What egg shall we open next? Which egg? Let's do a Play-Doh surprise egg and see what's inside. Wow, look at that, we've got a cool Hello Kitty with a fireman's outfit and a fire hat on. How cute is that? Said George. Peppa and George love Hello Kitty. It's loads of fun. So next, we'll open the Barbie surprise egg from Kinder Surprise. Wow, look at all that cool chocolate we got again, said Peppa. We've got way too much chocolate today. So inside the Barbie Kinder Surprise, Peppa and George found a really cool Barbie holding a guitar. How cool is that? Look at that, that's really nice. So cool, said Peppa the pig. George loves the new Barbie toy that he's got. So does Peppa. So Peppa and George say, what shall we open next? Let's do another Play-Doh surprise egg and see what's inside. Wow! It's Mike from Monsters University holding his school books. That's such a cool toy, said Peppa and George. George loves Mike from Monsters University. So let's open the last and final egg, Peppa said. It's a Percy egg. And we've got more chocolate. And who will we find? It's #5, James. Wow. James is George's favourite Thomas and Friends train. So Peppa Pig and George went to the park, not expecting to find anything, just to have a good time on the slides. But look at all these cool toys that they found. And George said, are we going to take them home, Peppa? And Peppa said, yeah, we'll have to get Mammy and Daddy Pig over to help us. There's too many for us to play with at once. We've got loads of cool surprise eggs and loads of cool surprise toys. Firemansam and Officer Steele were at the office, and Firemansam said, Officer Steele, we're just waiting for Peppa Pig to come, and what we're going to do is create a cool little garage parking space from some Play-Doh for Peppa Pig and her fire engine. Officer Steele said, that's a fantastic idea, Fireman Sam. Who's going to build it? So in comes Peppa Pig in her fire engine and shouts, "Hey Fireman Sam, hey Officer Steele, how are you?" "Oh no, Officer Steele's fallen over." Maybe got too excited when Peppa came around. So Peppa said, "What's the matter, guys? What's the surprise?" And Fireman Sam said, "We're going to build a cool little shed, car parking space for your fire engine to stay." And Peppa said, "Wow, that's such a cool idea. How are we going to do it?" So Fireman Sam said, "We're going to use this building material, Play-Doh, to build you a cool garage." So Peppa's got really excited and said, "Wow, look at all these cool colours. Am I going to have a multicolored garage?" And Fireman Sam said, "Yeah. What we're going to do is we're going to create blocks out of the Play-Doh and we're going to build the garage with it. And it's going to be so cool." So Peppa's got really, really excited at this point. She can't wait to start the work. "When can we start?" said Peppa. And Fireman Sam said, "Let's start now." So Peppa goes over by Fireman Sam and we can start work on the Play-Doh garage. So first of all we need to roll out the Play-Doh and then we need to cut it into bricks. So what we do is after we've rolled it out, we create our bricks. So cutting along with a Play-Doh knife, because you have to be safe, see Peppa, said Fireman Sam. And we create the bricks. Now we cut along and diagonal. And make sure you cut all the way through the Play-Doh so you can separate each brick from one another. So now we'll separate the bricks, and we need to do this with as many colors as you want to. And that's how we're going to build your garage, Peppa. We're going to make bricks out of different colored Play-Doh, as simple as this. And then we can start building. So the same applies with the red. We'll cut along and we'll cut each individual brick and then separate them again. And it's as simple as that. And we'll do the blue. And it's a lot of fun because you can build anything you want, Peppa. You could even build a house if you wanted to. So once you've cut all the bricks, we've got orange, blue, red, yellow, and then we can start to build the Play-Doh garage for Peppa's fire engine. So once the garage is built, we can now try to see if the fire engine will fit inside. And I'm sure it'll fit inside just fine. Peppa loves the new garage. And we won't put a roof on it just yet, Peppa. We'll maybe do that on another day. But for today, just building the walls around the side and the back is all we need to do. So Peppa Pig jumps in the fire engine, and she's going to see if it fits into the parking space just fine. So she reverses the fire engine, and it fits perfectly, said Peppa. And Fireman Sam said, "We did a great job today, Peppa, building this garage walls and the sides for you, and now you can park your fire engine safely every time you come over." Peppa said, "Thanks, guys. Don't forget to subscribe." Fireman Sam was just getting ready to go and pick up some of his friends. So he jumps onto Neptune, straps himself in, and off he goes to pick up some of his friends. Who's he going to pick up? So over he goes to the fire station. And at the fire station there's Mickey Mouse and Peppa Pig. Will they both get on? So Peppa said, "Hey Fireman Sam, hey Mickey, how are you?" said Fireman Sam. And Mickey Mouse said, "Wow, what a cool boat you've got, Fireman Sam. Can I come on?" So he jumps on, and Fireman Sam said, "Where are we going?" "Let's go to Mickey's caravan," said Peppa. So off they go to Mickey Mouse's caravan. And at the caravan is Pluto. So Mickey and Pluto gets really excited, and Pluto said, look, it's Fireman Sam." So Mickey gets off and said, "Oh, thanks Fireman Sam for dropping me off. I'll see you soon." So off Fireman Sam and Peppa Pig go to the office. So at the office, there's Officer Steele. So Peppa jumps off, leaving Fireman Sam to park the boat safely next to the office. And when they're at the office, they're just waiting for another job. So Officer Steele said, "It's been quite quiet today, guys. So it's just a time of waiting around and hoping everyone's safe. But we're ready to go to a rescue if need be. Don't forget to subscribe." George is stuck up a tree. How did he get up there? So George shouts, "Fireman Sam, Peppa Pig, help!" And George repeats this several times. Finally, Peppa Pig and Fireman Sam turn up. And Fireman Sam said, "Look, it's George. He's stuck up a tree." So Peppa Pig reverses the fire engine and lowers the ladder onto the tree. Meanwhile, Fireman Sam gets out of the passenger seat and tries to calm George down, saying, "George, don't worry. Me and Peppa will get you down safely." So Fireman Sam said, "Come on, Peppa. Jump on top of the ladder and see if you can reach George." So Peppa climbs onto the ladder step by step, being very careful, and said, "Right, George, I'm going to get you." So with a helping hand, George and Peppa climb down from the tree safely. And George is relieved. So Fireman Sam said, "Good work, Peppa. You got George back safely. That's a great job you just did." So Fireman Sam, George and Peppa Pig are all safe. And Fireman Sam said, "What was you doing up there, George?" And George replied, saying, "I thought it'd be fun to climb up onto the tree. It was easy to get up." but I just couldn't get back down. I was too scared." And then Peppa said, "The only things you're allowed to climb up, George, are the ladders to go down the slide. Now go and give that a go and see if it's any more fun than climbing up a tree." "Up there," Peppa said. So George makes his way, climbs up the ladder and goes down the slide. And he said, "Whee! That was loads of fun." And then Fireman Sam said to George, "See, George, if you climb up something like a slide, you can get back down safely, because you go up the steps and down the slide. You can't climb up something like a tree unless it's a tree house." George said, "I know, guys, I'm really sorry. Thanks for saving me. So everyone is safe